Hi golfers, Nick here for Nick Taylor Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week on golf tips, we're going to talk about the importance of the follow through, and I'm going to share with you a drill to help you play better golf. I think sometimes the follow through can be sort of disregarded as maybe not so important as other aspects of the golf swing, but I think it's so important. It kind of shows a result of what's happened before you've got to that point, so it can affect what happens at impact and what happens in the downswing. So the follow through is a result of what's happened up until that point, and I think it's so important. There needs to be a final destination for the hands and the golf club in the finish, and it can really affect how you hit the golf ball and the consistency of your golf shot. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the follow through, and I'm going to show you a drill to help you improve your golf. So first up, let's talk about one of the biggest faults that I see in the golf swing, and that's golfers that move off plane in the finish, and that can have massive bearing on what happens to the golf club at impact. So as I swing through here, my hands and my club should move around my body. You may have seen these grid lines I've talked about a lot before. So the club path should move around the body, inside on the backswing and downswing, and then back inwards on the follow through. So this outside line here of the grid represents the path that the club should travel on. And the reason it travels around the body in an arc is because of the way the club's designed. The club's designed on an angle to the ground. The club's not designed in a straight line. If it was, we'd swing up and down the target line. So the club's designed on an arc. It's designed to swing around the body in a circle. And this would be the quickest way, the most efficient way of swinging the golf club. Now, one of the biggest faults I see are golfers that move off the grid in the follow through. And one of the biggest issues are golfers that have the idea of trying to draw the golf ball, trying to hit it straight. They try and swing down the target line. That does a couple of things. So first of all, the more the club moves out to the right, the more potentially you can hit behind the golf ball. Also, it can move the contact point more towards the heel, and it's just a weaker way and a less efficient way and a slower way of swinging the golf club. Generally, if you see golfers that swing too much to the right, you'll see in the exit point their hands and their club come very high. So I had a guy yesterday, he's almost kind of looking through his arms on the finish. That's how high he was swinging. So I think some people don't realize how important the finish position is. So when you look at the best golfers, they'll move the club and the hands around the body. So they're tracing this arc. They're doing that by turning, but they're also moving their weight forward as well. So there's a combination of things that are happening at this point. So first up, I'm going to hit a shot here, just showing you what I see sometimes in the follow through where golfers are trying to swing down the target line. We're going to take a look at some club data and the shot as well. So I'm going to go high finish, almost swing down the target line here. Same backswing. So that can work. Like, I managed to strike that pretty well. I swung that pretty much as fast as I could. Now you're going to see the club data in a second. I'll bring it up, but that was actually 11-degree into out path. I'm hitting on a mat here, bear in mind. So when you're hitting on a mat, it's a bit easier to make decent contact. So taking a look at that club data in a bit of detail. So 89 club head speed, so pretty close to what I'd normally do, maybe a bit slower. 11 degrees into out, so you can see I tried to swing to the right as much as possible, so that improves the into out, which for some people that can be a good thing. But if you notice the angle of attack there, 0.8 upwards. So the more you swing to the right, the harder it is to hit down on the golf ball, which is one of the key things to do in the golf swing. When you take a look at the best golfers, they swing reasonably straight into the ball, maybe a couple of degrees into out, but they're hitting downwards on the ball. And those things are so important to be consistent at golf. Now, we're hitting on a mat here, so it's a bit easier to make decent contact when you're hitting on a mat and hit upwards. But if you're outside, you're going to start to miss-hit shots by swinging upwards and too much on the inside. Now, you may have thought that was a good shot, but I know that's going to be quite difficult to produce time and time again and be consistent doing it. So what should the finish position look like, and what would happen to the club data? So now I'm going to do my normal golf swing. We're going to take a look at the ball flight, distance, club data as well. So this would be my normal ball flight where I'd swing more on plane or on the grid. So that contact felt a lot better. You can see on the screen there, pretty straight ball flight. Wasn't much curve on that. So that's kind of my normal golf swing, and you can see the top view there, ball's pretty straight, pretty close to the line. So that time there, I finished the swing, swung on the grid, swung around my body, kept the club on plane. So let's take a look at that data. So taking a look at the data, first of all, the club head speed jumped up to around 96. So that increased from 89 to 96. So an increase in club head speed just by swinging more on plane and more around the body on an arc. You can see how the club path there reduced to 4 degrees or 4.4 degrees into out instead of 11. And the effect that had on the angle of attack was quite different. So by swinging straighter into the ball, it helped me hit downwards on the golf ball 4.9 degrees, which is kind of similar to the tour average in terms of angle of attack. And then you can see also the contact point was a little bit higher on the face. So by swinging straight into the golf ball, slightly down, the contact point was higher on the club face, which is going to hit better golf shots. So when you take a look at those two shots there, the first one I swung as much to the right as I could, kind of down the target line, which you see the massive fall. Now, in the second one, I kind of kept the arms moving across my chest. My right arm there was across the line of my shoulders. That's really important. If you look at that from the side view, you'll see how my hands exit just below my left shoulder here. And that's what we're looking for. If you swing too high, it's going to make it very difficult to compress the golf ball, hit down on it, and hit the ball straight. It's like you're swinging too much of an angle into the ball. So it's important we keep those arms connected to the body. So keeping these pressure points. Now, a really good drill to get the feel for this would be from an upright position. From here, just standing with the arms out in front of you like you would do at setup, but from an upright position, just turn and swing across the body. So you can see how my arms finish there. This is a really good way of just, first of all, just learning to not lift the arms. If I was to do the first swing, my follow through would look like this. So my arms would be lifting off my chest and going too high. We want these arms to move across the body, and that's a really good feel. We're trying to do this on an angle. Try and keep them across the body, but this to start with is a really good feel to try and train that. So very important that you keep these pressure points under the arms, you keep swinging, staying on the grid. It's going to help you hit better shots. You can see the importance there of staying on the grid, swinging in a circle, keeping the arms on plane. It makes it much easier to compress the golf ball and hit it a lot straighter. So I want to thank Ayumi Hori Golf in California. She's the one who uses this drill with her students. She's one of the best instructors in the world. Check her out. I'll put a link for her Instagram here. But she's great. She's got loads of great drills. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. She's done amazing work to make a big difference to a lot of golfers around the world. So thanks for watching, golfers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already, please follow me on my other social media platforms, and I'll see you again next week for another video.